Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see you all. Happy weekend, a big weekend of wrestling here in Toronto. But for now, we're not going to focus on WWE. No. We're going to look back at AEW Forbidden Door. I am your bonus content guest host. Not that that's an official thing because anybody can do bonus content, but we're available. I'm Jose Taboada. You can follow me on social media at Taboada93. And of course, this is our great AEW expert and apologist, Colin Dodge, who you can find on social media at Risen72. And of course, as always, folks, follow our show at Ringside_Heat across all social medias and listen to us on wherever you get your favorite podcast. So, Colin, good to see you. Happy Friday. Hope we had a great week. Happy weekend. Big weekend for you coming up.
Well, I'm not so sure now because you're going to keep poking the bear like that, and maybe I don't feel like doing any kind of live reaction, and we pour Chico to his own devices. Maybe that's what's going to happen.
Well, in saying that, yes, Colin, tomorrow we'll be doing our second WWE live stream with Money in the Bank coming to you live from here in beautiful Toronto, Canada, at the Scotiabank Arena. The live stream starts 6:30 Eastern. The pay-per-view starts at 7:00 Eastern. He will be joined by our action figure collector, Chico Nuguid, our memorabilia collector, I should emphasize,
and our TNA expert. So we have our AEW expert and our TNA expert covering the WWE pay-per-view. I don't care what it's called. Pay-per-view.
So it's a big weekend. It's a big weekend for everybody, of course. And again, if in case you missed out, John will be representing Ringside Heat. So he's going to be available all weekend. For
our boys growing up,
weekend, I believe.
So nice.
And even of course, after this is released, later on today, we're going to be publishing out a bunch of Money in the Bank content. So look forward to that. But for now, like I said, we wanted to create this time block for you all, especially for those that prefer AEW or WWE. And look back at Forbidden Door last weekend. Colin and Lex were tag teaming. I joined in the end, live reacting to Forbidden Door 2024. A very fun pay-per-view. I had the opportunity to skim through it. I had the opportunity to go through most of the highlights, and looked like a great time indeed. Obviously, I wish I would have been in the live stream, but it is what it is. We carry on. Colin, you were saying at the end of the live stream last week that you were a big fan. You were a big fan of the pay-per-view. You were a big fan of everything that unfolded. A week later, now that everything's you had time to process it. Now that Dynamite's come and gone. Same thoughts? Anything different before we get into these specific specific points that you want to look at?
No, it still holds. I think it was better than last year's Forbidden Door. Not that last year's was terrible, but this continues to be a string for this year. Solid pay-per-views coming out of AEW. So the pay-per-views are solid and continue to get better, and then somehow the TV side is slipping. So again, I am not at all a promoter, especially of a wrestling show that's on television, so I don't know the delicate balance of spinning plates to make sure your pay-per-views are great and your TV is also great, which should feed into the other, chicken and the egg, that kind of thing. There was a time when Monday night, when it seemed like even WrestleManias were only feeding into the next night's Monday Night Raw. I don't know exactly how that works itself, but the pay-per-view was solid. I really enjoyed it. It did not feel like the 3.5, almost 4 hours. That's not counting the pre-show. The only thing with the pre-show, I was kind of sad that the House of Black was on the pre-show, even though it was fun. Of course, it was just Malachi and Brody because, the other one hurt his leg, aka got married. So, it's congratulations on the broken marriage, or not marriage. Don't tell Dominic. And
you can hear all the people that joke around marriage is just fuel up with content in that.
We don't have to go back to full kayfabe, but a little kayfabe would help. But that's a topic for an entirely different show. Yeah,
it's so tough, man. It's I mean, I even saw Mark Henry and Bully Ray comment on the Wyatt Six going to Whataburger after they murdered Chad Gable and taking photo with a fan. A fan caught them at a Whataburger, took photo with the 5 of them. All of them, no costumes, no makeup, just all smiles.
I mean,
all right. So it's
Like, you don't have to go full 30 years like Taker did, but you got to do a bit more than what's happening.
I mean, we're never gonna go back to full Taker. What Taker did for 30 years was,
but
and
also
yeah,
social media wasn't what it is now then. So
no,
I'm not sure if even Taker could do that now.
social media. I mean, social media wasn't even what it was 5 years ago, and it continues to evolve. I know we're derailing here a little bit, but it's true. That is that just social media, and the fact that Taker kept it going until his retirement. I guess in the middle of the social media era. Not that I think the era is going to be going away. It's a permanent thing for life, but I don't know.
It helped he was down to yearly matches, so
right. It's a very, very fair point. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run down the card. I'm going to run down the card. We're not going to I don't think we need to
we don't have to break down everything. No.
And I don't think I need to, re-emphasize the pre-show matches because again, Colin even himself, we started the live stream midway through the pre-show. A 2-hour pre-show, right? Was it not?
It's like an hour and a half because they do put in all the promos and lead ups and stuff. I mean, that's mainly what it's for. And then it's just matches while people are filing in. I mean, that's what we all know that.
And again, that's exactly what we're doing as well for Money in the Bank tomorrow. Colin will be like I said, Colin and Chico start at 6:30. It's going to be midway through the pre-show. I'm already going to be in my seat, all giddy and excited. So which is something to look forward to. So we're going to break down the main card, run it down, and then Colin's going to give his favorite points, his crucial points of the pay-per-view from his perspective of Forbidden Door. So here we go. MJF defeated I can't even say that. Hechishiro?
I think it's Hechishiro. This is another New Japan star that, of course, I did not know of. I have not done my full deep dive into all things New Japan, aside from even their top headliners, and even then, we'll talk about later when we get down to Naito.
Naito.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
Naito's a whole other thing. So Naito.
I am embarrassed that I mispronounced the first name, but that's okay. I do know these names. The Elite, Matthew and Nick Jackson, Okada defeated the Acclaimed, and who were also paired up with Tanahashi. Bryan Danielson defeated Shingo Takagi. Oh my Takagi! I am going
Takagi.
to hell.
Yeah, that was a very good match. I mean, it went 20 minutes. So, I mean, again, Bryan Danielson's victory lap, what a victory lap it is. So it was great. Of course, Bryan advances. A really good match. Again, somebody I did not know, but I liked what I saw. I watched it because of Bryan. It was fun. Great way to, now these weren't the first matches for the Owen Hart tournament, but it was a great showing for that tournament as to why you should be paying attention to that tournament. So
of course, now I mean Bryan Danielson is headed to the finals.
He's headed to the final.
Who's taking on Hangman Page? Is that
now? It's the returning Hangman Page. Yeah,
again,
what I feared for Swerve is happening, but we'll get there.
A conversation that'll come up in a little bit. Timeless Tony Storm continues to be your champion. Defeated Mini Shirakawa. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Orange Cassidy.
Well, just to stop you there, just to get in with Timeless, I think it's pro wrestling's first throuple. I'm just gonna call it out. That's what's happening. They're just all friends now. So yeah, after Timeless retained, now they're all buddies because the storyline is Mariah May is torn between her former tag team champion partner when she was in Stardom. Mina is going back and forth, I'm pretty sure, between Stardom and AEW now. But yeah, so they're one big happy family for the moment, and Luther's there too. But it was highly entertaining. Also, very good wrestling. I am definitely a fan of Mina. For somebody else who I don't know who's walked into a title shot, the little that she's done, like a little as in she's only had a handful of matches in AEW, a lot of fun to watch. So I'm a fan of Mina. Again, Timeless continues to do no wrong. So no one is more shocked how turned around I am on Toni Storm because she's finally hit the gimmick that she's comfortable with and that I find entertaining. So the matches are still there. So it's great.
I mean, sometimes for an individual, it'll take a couple of gimmicks to get the right one.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Rhea Ripley's gone through a couple of transformations. Finally got the right one as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying. The Rock goes through a bunch, but then The Rock can make anything work. To be honest with you, for example, there's a bunch of names. I know there's a bunch of people that took a while to get to where they are today, and had to go through a lot of like different versions. Becky Lynch is, I think, is a great example.
Yes.
The Irish
Yeah.
jig in NXT, which then it turns into the Steam. I was gonna say StreamYard, the SteamYard.
Plug. Yeah.
The
Steampunk.
steampunk.
There
Wow,
you go.
that's what I'm looking for. The steampunk era, then eventually to what she got that finally put her over the top.
Yeah. And you
So
can see where they were also most comfortable. Like, obviously, we know Randy Orton is most comfortable as a heel kind of thing. And her becoming the man was obviously the most comfortable for her. I'll also show Mercedes as an example later. And just a quick thing with Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy. I believe this was the first time Zack Sabre Jr. has finally been able to defeat Orange Cassidy. I still haven't checked that stat, or at least in major pay-per-views. He finally got the win, and poor Orange Cassidy, continues to be sad Orange Cassidy. He is currently in the middle of his darkest timeline. So that's an interesting kind of back burner storyline. We'll see how that goes. Maybe he'll join the Callis family. Who knows?
Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata defeated the Learning Tree, Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff Cobb. Jack Perry claims the vacant AEW TNT Championship.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop you there too quickly.
Go for it.
The Learning Tree and Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. Okay. The trios team that I never knew that I wanted, that is working. I'm sure it's mostly because of Samoa Joe, but those three are fantastic together. The Learning Tree, I'm completely bought in. It was a fun match. This is the most I've ever been entertained by Big Bill, or Redwood, as he's now called. And I absolutely love it. Jeff Cobb is just a monster, and he's completely fun to watch. So Jeff Cobb and Samoa Joe hookups during that, lockups are fantastic. It was a lot of fun. The ladder matches are either incredibly well done, or they're absolute car pileups. This was
it can turn into like a train wreck. And sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a concerning way.
Yeah. This was not the most insane things, but fantastic spots that looked absolutely safe. Of course, Jack Perry was going to win. He won kind of like the correct way. It made sense how he won. It wasn't just a complete smosh. He cheats.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like everybody holding the ladder for Seth, back in the Authority days when Orton and all that, and Kane was still in it, that kind of stuff. So it wasn't like that. But Takeshita was the workhorse of that match. The amazing spot he did on Phantasmo. Leo Rush did great. Dante Martin was awesome. Briscoe was being Mark Briscoe and destroyed himself more than anybody else, but it was a lot of fun, really well done. It's a ladder match to go back and watch. Jose, you should definitely check it out. A well done ladder match.
I was skimming through it, and I did see those spots, and I'm going, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's always fun when you see like high flying, crazy ladder match spot moments. Obviously, I'm going to hopefully see a few more tomorrow night. But no, it's true.
Yeah.
Ladder spots can be fun if they're done right and safely.
Yeah, but Takeshita, the MVP of that match, I was really impressed by him. He was working everybody, and he was running around everywhere. He did great. So yeah.
Let me just quickly say the last three matches, and then I think we're gonna go into Colin's biggest point to takeaways of the pay-per-view. Mercedes Moné, a double champion now, defeating Stephanie Vaquer for the AEW TBS Championship, which was hers, and now the new NJPW Strong Women's Championship, which she captured. Also featured a return of everybody's favorite dentist, Britt Baker is back. Naito defeated Moxley for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which is really, really big. That's a title now. I guess I don't know if you want to say quote unquote shifts back to Japan. Not really, but it's back under full control of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then last but not least, Swerve Strickland, which a lot of people were assuming and started to say at one point is only a placeholder for Will Ospreay, hangs on to that elusive AEW World Championship. He continues to be your champion and to be the captain of the ship that is known as AEW. So I think again, like I said, now I wanted to see Colin, what are your biggest points or highlights out of all these? I know there's a lot to talk about. Actually, you know what? If you don't mind, I think one of the first biggest points you want to talk about was the main event. It was the main event. I kind of want to tackle that first.
Yeah, we can definitely do that one first.
And one of the biggest, I guess, like I just said, a lot of people thought that Swerve was the transitional champion and only there for Will Ospreay to claim the title. Will Ospreay lost. Fightful, Deshaun Rassap reported that Will Ospreay suggested himself, Swerve's got to go over to legitimize the championship.
Yep.
I have to say it is the right move. I think Ospreay is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but you need to establish your champions. You need to put legitimacy on your champions. I think even WWE is in that similar phase right now with Damian Priest, in how a lot of people anticipated he should have lost. He should have lost to Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, but you don't want Priest's reign to kind of be like a footnote because of the whole mess with Punk and everything. And I was even saying Priest has got to retain. I think that was the right call there. Here in AEW, I think Swerve had to retain. He does. The right call.
Yeah. I understand the call, and I'm impressed. But I'm not entirely shocked because I don't see Will Ospreay as somebody as kind of a glory hog. I think with the rep that he has and the way he's gone through how many promotions worldwide and all that kind of thing, he's after being the best, but also what makes sense as well.
You can tell.
So I think that's the level head that he has. So I'm not surprised that Will supported this or came up with this or whatever. But I guess I'm kind of surprised. It's like, okay, the powers that be, Tony Khan, or even if it's Triple H, like the people in charge didn't go, let's just do what's normally done and we'll just, panic button. Okay, that was fun. Let's go back to what we were going to do anyway. We'll just do it a bit sooner or something like that. So the match itself, I guess probably because it's the opponents that Swerve has had, I think this was eye-opening for how good Swerve is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not that I ever thought I didn't think he could keep up with Will Ospreay. It was just he can keep up with Will Ospreay. So it's not that I was surprised. It's like, oh, great, this is the proof that I didn't know I needed kind of thing. Or it's just, it was a fantastic match. They were toe-to-toe. I want to see them wrestle all the time. They could main event the next 3 pay-per-views as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was great. Clearly what's happening though, and this is where I'm going to dip into what happened in Dynamite this week.
Yep.
Hangman is back. Now, I was thinking somewhere down the line, perhaps on a slow news week, this could be a topic for us when we have a full panel or something, is some of the best champions aren't the best champions without their best rival. So, we have like Rock and Stone Cold. I don't think you could be Stone Cold without The Rock. I don't think you could be The Rock without Stone Cold.
I do agree. Yeah.
Right? That kind of thing. Brett and Shawn. It didn't end great, obviously. Just not to be disrespectful to what happened, but
don't ask Chico about it.
Just not to get into it.
Don't ask Chico about it. No.
I'm not going to broach this with Chico tomorrow. Well, maybe. I don't know. Depends. If there's a really boring match, I think Chico and I might start talking screwed up.
So, Brett?
Yeah, so anyway, the deal with Brett and why he's amazing and everybody else who doesn't like him sucks. So, no. Yeah. Chico and I are very biased for Brett. So, yeah, it's just how good he is. So it's with Hangman coming back, I think that is the rivalry for Swerve, at least for AEW. That's been his most intense, that ridiculous match where Hangman tried to be a vampire. I'm not going to get into that too much either. But yeah, that has been Swerve's best rivalry in AEW, so it makes sense that Hangman coming back. Now, Hangman isn't gone full elite. He told off Nicholas and Matthew that he's not Elite's whipping boy or anything like that. He's in the Owen Hart tournament, and he's going to win the Owen Hart tournament and just get himself to Wembley that way. Brief thing, Jeff Jarrett's promo. Go back and watch Jeff Jarrett's promo talking about Owen. I mean, I saw the pay-per-view, Owen's last pay-per-view and all that kind of thing. And and I remember, that night celebrating Owen afterwards. I remember Jeff speaking then, Jeff speaking now. So it got me on a whole bunch of heartstrings and all that kind of thing. Anyway, So at first I thought, okay, I didn't watch Dynamite live, and I heard, oh, Hangman's back. Oh, he was the wild card surprise for Jarrett. And I thought, after that promo, Jarrett's not going to beat Hangman, right? And I thought, all right, well, I got to watch this match. It was not a squash match. So he didn't run through Jarrett or anything like that. It was a good match. Jarrett, of course, being the absolute senior, still doing amazing for what he can still do in the ring. So, I mean, he still wrestles great. So all kudos and hats off and everything to Jarrett. Yeah. So it was not a squash match, but it was there. It was a vehicle to show, okay, Hangman's back. New video package and music. Better than the last, so that's good. But this is a very vicious Hangman. He's a very angry Hangman. He did a couple extra finishers just because he could and really beat the crap out of Jeff a little bit. So I'm like, okay, we get it. He's mad and he's angry and stuff. And then he proceeded to tell off the Bucks and push them around. And they're like, oh, I guess we don't have a fifth for Blood and Guts whenever that craziness is happening. So
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but so clearly, sure. Long-winded way to get back to my point. This is the big rivalry for Swerve and Hangman. So I'm assuming maybe Hangman wins at Wembley. But I'm not sure what happens if Swerve beats him again. So I don't know if that's already giving the foregone conclusion. But Swerve wasn't on Dynamite this week at all. Not even a pre-taped promo or anything like that, which
right.
I find is interesting. He doesn't have to have a match. You know, I don't need him to be a weekly fighting champion. That's not always needed at all. He doesn't necessarily have to be a pay-per-view only champion either, but he's your top guy. He needs to have some kind of presence. So I get I get the idea of keeping him out of the building because Hangman was coming back. So if they're so volatile that they have to kick the crap out of each other the second they lay eyes on each other, well, then it makes sense that he wasn't in the building. But he could have done his thing and then like, I'm off to celebrate, or even something kind of lame like that. But at least have him look, I beat Ospreay. Like, that's a big win for him.
No, I know.
Just to beat Will Ospreay. So I'm not even sure if he's going to be at Collision. I don't know. Sorry.
And before, before we have our WWE haters say, yes, we were not happy either that Roman Reigns was also kind of like, well, Roman Reigns went to the extreme of not showing up on a regular basis, but it's the principle of not having a champion show up, because a lot of people, even in the middle of we're going now to, a lot of people are now saying Roman Reigns is one of the best WWE championship reigns of all time. Technically fair. But I also don't want to forget that a lot of people were very, very, very critical about the length of when Roman wouldn't show up. Right. So it's cool that we're saying it's one of the best reigns of all time, but I know that people are also don't want to forget that, yes, like for a lot of a good portion of WWE content in the last few years, that you could have needed him. And not that I think AEW goes to that extent, and they shouldn't, and they never will.
No.
You still want that weekly, especially after a pay-per-view. Like you said, a big win like Ospreay like that in kayfabe terms, massive. You don't have them not show up. I think I said that right. Not show up for without any reason or without any context. So
even just a vignette where it's him a night on the town with his crew and stuff. Just they're at the club or something, and he's got the belt on the table or something like it. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the thing, but go, oh yeah, the guy who's still champion, because Will Ospreay was in the main event of Dynamite. And, defending his other title. I can't think of the name right at the moment. International title, I believe.
It's the what is? Oh, it doesn't say. What is he?
Because Okada has the Continental one. Yeah,
international champion.
International champion. Yeah. Because they split those, so I'm getting those confused now. So Okada has the Continental Championship. And
those are very similar names. Yes,
they're very similar. Yeah. So just but anyway, TNT and TBS and all that. Yeah. TV belt and internet champion and all that. 24/7 hardcore. But yeah.
sorry, if you have any final thoughts, because I do want to get to the next point. our next
Yeah,
point.
so just to say, I mean, Will was there. If you want to make sure he doesn't seem like the paper champion, presence on every show. Maybe not Rampage, but presence on of some kind on Wednesday night and Saturday night. So yeah, but otherwise, it fantastic match. Definitely again watch. If you weren't sure how good Swerve is, there's your prime example. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Moving forward to the next point that I wanted to make, I think another massive point, obviously again was that women's match, the was the winner takes all match, Monet and Vakur, or Vacker, am I saying that right? I Stephanie.
I believe it's Becker. Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
Was again highlighted by the return of Britt Baker. She's back to bolster the women's division, in which Colin has said many times was a bolster that this division desperately needed. But that said, there was apparently a report that came out that said that Monet also has creative control, which is kind of big. That is kind of big there. Which, and then, people started to meme, hey, maybe this is why she's double champion. I mean, number one, creative control or not, like, no offense to Stephanie, that kind of makes sense. Anyway, it's Mercedes is like from her debut, they put her into such a big spot here, and AEW, of course, is getting worldwide recognition. Nobody's denying that. So, and again, it's not at fault or a bad thing for Stephanie. It's just Mercedes is the bigger name.
Yeah.
Again, not that Stephanie can't get there, but it's just the
right now as it stands.
It's the landscape that we have in front of us.
Yeah.
So the win, again, an expected win, I think. Creative control, though, we've heard some fun stories about creative control in the past, haven't we, Colin?
Especially in this soul crew called AEW.
Yeah. So first of all, your thoughts on Britt Baker returning, but B, and probably the more important point, your thoughts on this potential quote unquote creative control situation that they got going on here.
All right. Well, first, I think let's do order of operations. Let's start in order. So the match itself.
Yes.
Stephanie Vakur. I hope we're saying that right.
Yes, I hope so too.
I am now a fan. This was another person I did not know about. It was a really good match. She had some very intense spots, like, okay, she will come in and kick your ass. This was a very good match between the both of them, not at all any kind of a squash match. Mercedes earned that win, you could say. So the win made sense and all in terms of what happened in the match and everything like that. I'm hoping, with the return of Britt Baker and stuff like that, I hope this was a really great audition of sorts for Stephanie in AEW. I hope we see her more. So I'm going to go look up other matches that she's done now. I was again, it's because somebody I didn't know. And I thought she looked great on that match. Now, we've talked about this, Jose. I'm not a big emoter at all. This is the most I think I've ever used my hands in last year.
No. When I called you the apologist, you popped your collar.
Well, when you anger me, that's different. But I just mean, like, when I'm happy, I have to show when I'm happy more. But if you start ticking me off, then
my
I'm
collar
because I'm still mad about this.
Is popped.
Yeah,
the line of a lifetime.
Top hat in the ceiling.
The line of a lifetime. The line of a lifetime. Continue.
That graphic still makes me chuckle. Go find that in our short feed. Anyway, yeah.
I had a lot of fun editing that. Once I found the top hat, I'm like, yep.
That was a good one. Yeah, the monocle. Yeah. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes. So when she came, for the longest time, I've been saying the women's division, top heavy, I guess. So like the people on top are where they should be, and they're great. Like Julia Hart needs to come back, Jamie Hayter needs to come back, and most importantly, Britt Baker needs to come back. And been waiting and waiting and waiting. And so 10 months later, she's finally back.
10 months?
It's been a long time, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It was injury, and as she explained on Dynamite, she actually had, I forget the actual proper term, medical term she gave, but she basically had a mini stroke at one point. But it wasn't exactly a stroke. It's what happens just before a stroke if you don't take care of it. So
actually understand that. I will say that. I will say this. I actually understand that.
So what happened, and she said, "Look, I need more time. We got to get this right." And
Of
she's
course.
cleared. She's perfectly healthy. She's back, and she wants to kick Mercedes's face in. So,
Jeez, man, that's health first, folks. We've seen superstars in the past who rush just to get out there, and it's cost them a lot in some instances their lives. And I hate to say that, but it is true. So to
say
hear
what you
that
want
is,
about AEW, they give people the time they need, or at least
as
I
they
haven't
should.
heard reports of anything to the contrary to that. So
Yeah, if anything, I'd say let us complain about wanting people back. We're fans. Let us complain, but thank God, I'm happy that they ignore our quote unquote requests and our desires for the sake of them. Oh my God, that's so scary. That's really scary.
And back to my point about emoting, I threw my arms and my hands in the air when I heard that song and I saw that graphic, and I thought, this will boost the ratings on Dynamite. I don't care.
Thank God. Thank God.
Is back. I'm pretty. I couldn't believe Tony wasn't at the announce desk at all that night. I don't think he was announcing that night. I'm sure he would have been in tears. I'm sure he was in tears where he was. One of his best buds is back. And anyway, I was so excited. Now, for Dynamite, Mercedes having creative control, I think it pays off in Dynamite because she has turned heel. She hasn't gone with the Elite per se, but she is buddies with the Elite. And it makes sense because that CEO persona is very elite-ish, you could say, just like
fair,
and all that kind of stuff.
Very fair.
So it was a great little spot where Britt was explaining why she's been gone this long and all that kind of stuff, and then and then the promo. So it was the nice update. I'm glad I'm back. I missed you guys. This is why, very honest kind of thing. And then, okay, switch. Now we're going to sell Wembley. And immediately attacks Mercedes, going on about, why you're brainwashing your fans by putting the CEO chant right in your music, which is a point I made a while back. And so I'm like, Britt gets it. Britt gets me. So very excited. And so she's doing great. All of a sudden it shows Mercedes rolls up, gets out of her big SUV. I guess it was a Land Rover. Who knows? Whatever the expensive one is. I'm not a car person. She gets out and she's greeted by Matthew and Nicholas. And they're like, okay, great. You're here. Your celebration is right there in the ring. Meanwhile, it cuts back. Britt's still in the ring. People are bringing out balloons, setting up pictures of Mercedes. Britt's still in the ring. She hasn't left. She was in the middle of her promo. And then the music hits. Here out comes Mercedes, and she's dancing around and going, and she's like, Britt's still in the ring while all this celebration is happening.
Different allure. I love it.
Yeah. They have their thing. The crowd immediately turns on Mercedes. Cold, because Britt's point is, I'm an AEW original. I am the first woman that signed with AEW. This division is mine.
Yeah.
Who are you to walk in here? I want you at Wembley. And, Mercedes doesn't necessarily agree to that. And they just kind of do it back and forth. But it's great. So, for the AEW original fans, they've officially turned on Mercedes. She got the shut the F up chance. She got it all. So Mercedes has gone full heel because Britt's back and we like Britt more. So the creative control has paid off. Mercedes having creative control, I think, has paid off on Dynamite. And it's the first promo and the way she was talking that I felt Mercedes has been comfortable. Chico and I have mentioned on the show and to each other where she doesn't seem quite comfortable yet, at least with the way she's been talking and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, she's just keeps feeding catchprisms and CEO to everybody. Like, I don't know how you can make that smooth anyway, right?
Which was always a struggle for her.
Yeah.
It was always not, I mean, it was just always, there was always something up with the promo game with her, which makes no sense. But it happens. It is what it is. It's surprising, but
But either was the crowd energy, or this is the nice little groove that she's in. She's full heel. It was great exchanges between the two. Yeah. So it's great. So yeah, Britt's back. I'm very happy. We just need Jamie Hayter back, and of course Julia Hart. So yeah, but we're getting there. We got 1 of 3.
So I think those are all the massive biggest points of Forbidden Door, unless there's any other last minute thoughts there, Colin.
Just the last, it's worth mentioning, John Moxley did lose the IWGP World Championship, Heavyweight Championship to Naito. I'm sure it was a really great match, of course. It won 17 minutes, so they had a full breadth of time to do what they were going to do. I mean, it makes sense if you have a pay-per-view that has 2 promotions doing it. Some belts have to go back. And of course, they're like top belts, or if not one of their top belts. I'm sure that's their top belt. Yeah, that would be their top belt. Yeah. So it should go back. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It doesn't hurt Moxley at all. So I'd be interested to see what they come up with him for Wembley. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't think Wheeler somehow was able to keep his belt even though he was injured. So I think he's the only one with a belt in the BCC right now. So.
With that being said, though, that is the next time that we here at Ringside do a live reaction in the AEW world. August 25th, Wembley once again gets the light shine on them with All In. This time, hopefully, with no backstage confrontations. But for now, that is
no one mentioned glass. Don't do anything with
everybody.
glass.
Everybody, shut up. But that is the next time that everybody gets together. Hopefully, I will try to make sure I make it for that one because it's Wembley. It is Wembley. They did miss the first one last year, which
if Jamie Hayter returned at Wembley.
There's a lot going on. By the way, before we do wrap this up, because again, I'm just wanted to promo the next time that we here on Ringside go live for again the AEW umbrella. I do want to bring up the massive. I want to close off with the massive announcement that was made during Forbidden Door. Excuse me, during Forbidden Door, this past last week, Wrestle Dynasty is going to happen January 5th, 24 hours after Wrestle Kingdom 19. It is a five company cross brand pay-per-view. Again, comes 24 hours after Wrestle Kingdom 19 in the Tokyo Dome. Which again, at first, I think somebody was telling me that that it replaces Wrestle Kingdom as a whole, which I would have been appalled, and my collars would have been popped if that was the case.
They were popping when we were trying to tell you what we just saw.
I was so confused. So
were we. We weren't sure. It was just this giant announcement with like every promotion you could think of.
It made no sense. But New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, CMLL, ROH, and Stardom all come together, which is going to be a massive cross brand promotion. I think it's huge because again, number one, it's the Tokyo Dome. Not everything runs through the Tokyo Dome. They save the Tokyo Dome for special events. Obviously, Wrestle Kingdom, for those that don't know, just in case, aka New Japan's WrestleMania. But this is such a big way to include everybody. Then you can essentially say it's a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom in a sense. Again, because I know they discontinued the 2-night Wrestle Kingdom shows a couple of years ago. So I like I said, I think a week after hearing this announcement, my thoughts haven't changed. This is big. I love this. This is so good for the wrestling industry. I don't think there would be really any heads butting or like some like potential issues. I think everybody wins and feeds here. I've said this before. I do think that this is AEW needing this more than New Japan needing it more because this is posted in Japan and everything, but this is AEW's another step for AEW to continue to grow their international market. And I think you would say that they are the big you mean ROH and CMLL aside, you could say that AEW is the biggest winner out of this and getting such a big show like this again in the Tokyo Dome the night after Wrestle Kingdom.
Completely, because I mean they're 5 years in, they're brand new. I mean, we've been talking about them for a while. They've been on TV for a while.
We're going to say this in 20 years.
Landscape of things. Yeah, they are super brand new. Of course, there's still things to be ironed out and all that kind of stuff. But this is to get up this stage level. I mean, obviously, New Japan is completely established over there. That is their house. If you want to get into that nomenclature, it's just, it's big for AEW. again, it's encouraging me to look up more about Stardom and New Japan
Yep.
and CMLL, and everybody who already knows those things are going to be encouraged to look at Ring of Honor and AEW.
In AEW.
That is the point of those kind of mega things. This is your star stock. This is your Woodstock of wrestling. It's everybody's going to be there.
So that's why I'm here to announce a Ringside Heat exclusive. Colin will be getting up at 3 in the morning in his time to watch this live on January 5th, 2025. So a big congratulations to Colin, who has been voluntold to get up in the middle of the night and watch this live. Are you excited?
I'm the only one that apparently does these live reaction things. So yeah, I guess this is kind of my thing.
We want to join you, Colin. We want to join you. I don't have a basic 9 to 5 weekends off, holidays off. And we just got off the Canada Day long weekend, and everybody's like, "What are you doing for Canada Day, Jose?" Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm working. So like today and tomorrow are my days off for the week. So
I did have this whole week off. And happy Canada Day and happy 4th of July to
yes,
the American listeners as well. I
hope
you've all had a safe and good and fun and relaxing weekend or week if you were lucky like me. But I'm probably gonna Of course.
See.
What else am I doing? What else am I doing?
I don't expect any of us to get up that early or live stream in the middle of the night, but
I already get up at 6. What's 3 hours earlier?
Crazier things have happened, I guess. But again, that's a really big announcement. So that's really, really exciting. But that'll do it for us here. Colin. Thank you again, as always, for being slowly becoming into our director of live streaming. As I've become the director of social media, as Lex is just a flat out director. John is the director of music, and Chico's having fun.
Chico's the director of Hey Chico, you around? I love you, Chico.
We're
gonna kill it tomorrow.
We do love Chico, and yes, tomorrow night, folks. Again, Colin and Chico tag team for Money in the Bank, a live reaction here on Ringside Heat. That live stream starts 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, and then into the night again. Money in the Bank live here from Toronto, Canada. John and I will be in the arena. John will be officially covering on social media for Ringside Heat, and I will be officially a fan in the stands, which should be a lot of fun. So this was Mr. Colin Dodge. You can find him on social media at Risen72. Support him and all that he does with Sick Kids Hospital with his live streams. And then I am Jose Taboada. You can find me on social media at Taboada93. Follow the show's socials at Ringside_Heat. And of course, as always, available wherever you get your podcasts, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Money in the Bank. And we will call and we'll see you all tomorrow. And of course, we will see you this weekend for our recap episode of Money in the Bank. Take care, friends. See ya.